The 2020 Democratic field grew again Monday when California Senator Kamala Harris announced her campaign, and there are a growing number of women running, including New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. Let's bring in Democratic strategist Antjuan Seawright. He is the founder and CEO of Blueprint Strategy, LLC, and he joins me now from Columbia, South Carolina. Antjuan, welcome. Great to see you again. So tell us first off, what are some of the pros and cons of Senator Harris's candidacy?
Well, first of all, here we grow again. Another voice added to the big choir called the Democratic Party Choir for President, and so I'm so excited. Senator Harris, some 50 years after Shirley Chisholm, will join the race. She is the first African-American female candidate in my lifetime that people in my generation will have the opportunity to vote for, and I think that's all that brings excitement all about itself. But also, it is a great reminder of the diversity of our party. What I love about Senator Harris and her strategy is very clear. She understands that long highway to the White House runs through God's country, South Carolina. And so her first stop will be here later this week on Friday night at an event with her sorority, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated. And that says everything about where she will put her focus from a campaign and a strategy standpoint. It's been said, and I reiterate what I've said many times, 60% of the people who will cast their vote in the Democratic primary in South Carolina will be African American. A large chunk of those voters will be African-American female voters. And so I think she understands where her bread will be buttered in this Democratic primary.
I'm glad that you brought up female voters, because with Harris entering the race, there are now 4 women in the Democratic field. I find that so exciting. And of course, there could be more. What does this mean for the party as a whole? Can we finally say that the female presidential candidate is the new normal?
Well, I think it's historic, and you have to give credit to the Shirley Chisholms of the world and there's so many other women who came before, but you also have to give a lot of credit to my former candidate for president, Hillary Clinton. I mean, she made history in 2016 as the first female candidate to represent any party as the presidential nominee, and so you have to give her her just due. And what it means is that, you know what? People are not afraid to step up to the plate and offer themselves to serve, whether you're female, whether you're male, whether you're black or white, whether you're Latino. I think people understand what Dr. King meant when he talked about the fierce urgency of now that we face in this country. And I've said this during the 2018 midterms, and I feel this way now. We are still in a battle for America's soul, and I declare on this program that we cannot afford to lose. And that's why you see the number of people stepping up and saying, you know what, I want to offer my solution to fix these problems we have here in this country.
You know, Antjuan, Senators Cory Booker and Bernie Sanders were there in South Carolina today, your home state. What is their message to voters? And overall, what do you think the message from Democrats needs to be in South Carolina?
Well, I think the 2 senators who were here today, first of all, their message was simple. We're here to honor the life, the legacy, and the groundwork laid by the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and I appreciate them for being here. What I think their message has to be, any other candidate who comes to the state, first of all, they have to understand the dynamics of South Carolina and our own political challenges that we face from a Republican versus Democratic perspective, and how most people in the state feel like they fall in the least of these categories, or the have-nots. The other part, I think they have to talk about bread and butter issues, the things that Democrats talked about that we were for collectively in the 2008 midterms, and I call those barbershop and beauty salons, kitchen table, living room issues. If you're from South Carolina or visit here, you will understand Lizard Thicket, Kiki Chicken and Waffles, and Big T barbecue issues. Those are the things that will run today. Quality of life issues like affordable housing, like protecting our right to vote, like access to affordable quality health care, like pushing back on this notion that a child's education opportunity and quality will be determined by their zip code, like wages, like making sure women are paid the same as men for the same work. You know, those are the things that I think will run the day for not just South Carolina, but throughout this Democratic primary process.
And South Carolina is a very, very important state to Democrats. Isn't that right, Antjuan?
Well, it's the battleground. I've said this before. The road to heaven and the White House runs slap through South Carolina. This will be the first test, I think, from a strategy standpoint, in which campaign infrastructure and sustainability will be tested first and foremost, and probably most importantly, because you're going to, in order to be successful here in South Carolina, there has to be a combination of a high-tech and a high-touch campaign. And so it's not just come in and put money on the airwaves, and whether it's TV or radio, or run some digital ads or send emails and think that's going to garner you support and will get you across the finish line first. You're going to have to knock doors. You're going to have to show up at fish fries. You're going to have to clap your hands and stump your feet at worship services on Sunday mornings. But you're going to also have to be able to talk about the bread and butter issues and how do you solve the issues that we face, not just now, but the issues that future generations will face in rural America.
Antjuan Seawright in Columbia, South Carolina, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for allowing me to be with you from God's country, South Carolina.
That's right. Thank you so much, Antjuan.